take over a fight. You can find yourself Rift's Herald or Dragon or whichever objective it may be at the time. But again, yeah, a lot of it's going to come down to how WSL pass around the map. It is very lane-focused runes here for the Nico, which is not to be surprised.
Yeah, the absolute focus as well. Going to be a lot of damage in the early game. Scorch picked up by Shera as well, though. But no Corrupting Potion, which could be a little risky. Will probably have to grab himself a refillable pretty early on.
Minions have spawned.
And both AD carries forced to take the cleanse. I think it's probably the right choice.
Yeah, I think Pepero definitely needing it. And then a lot of times you do just want to have that cleanse against a Renekton.
Yeah.
I mean, the hook too, but there's been so many games where the only hard CC on an enemy team was a Renekton, but that Renekton stun has turned an entire team fight on its head, so...
It is really annoying, I think, as well, because I think normally when you look at a champ like Renekton, Ghost on Ashe would be so good against him. You know, just kite him out, keep chasing him down, there's going to be nothing he can do, but that one time where he manages to get in range with either, you know, an E/W or something, it just feels like it's too hard to deal with. You just instantly lose a fight off of it. And Blaze, especially with those melee buffs, he's going to be a big part of this team. Can't really afford to be dying like that. Now I'm kind of interested, I guess, to see how these solo lane matchups go. Because I think we've seen a lot of variance in the Jax-Renekton matchup, even though I think Renekton should kind of win early. Hasn't always been the case. I think mid lane as well. You know, normally the Nico should have herself a pretty sizable advantage, but sometimes if you're, you know, not too weak in lane or forced to play passively for whatever reason, if you let that Azir kind of get to level 6 relatively untouched, you're in a bit of trouble. And Zhao hasn't really impacted Shera's health bar at all so far. So definitely a good signs for the Azir in mid.
Definitely is. Now, both junglers are on their bot side fairly early. You feel like WSL will want to try look for some type of gank, and it should be Arashi matching to ensure it doesn't happen and let this Ashe Melio bully their lane for as long as possible at least. Wonder what build we'll see on the Ashe. I imagine it's going to be the Kraken into Triforce, but we have seen, especially Bruce, make some nice adaptations depending on the comp. I think this does look like it can just be a Kraken into Triforce game.
Yeah, probably is the best. Will be, ooh, huge trade from top lane.
Yeah, okay, LJW getting extremely low. We'll use that Counter-Strike, but it's JP who's finding himself a nice early advantage, and it should be LJW recalling and having to teleport back, so JP for now, doing well in his own lane. WSL will try and contest the crab, but Arashi quick enough to be able to pick that up for free. And with that, WSL should be headed to the top side. Now, Jax won't be diveable simply because he was able to get his recall off and teleport.
That could be pretty problematic, I think, for Impunity, though. Jax losing TP so early. Okay, Renekton matches, I think maybe could have held it.
Yeah.
But decides to commit it as well. Oh, bot lane gank, though.
Yeah,
Pepero.
Arashi's found himself a nice angle as Pepero will have to flash away. He should not be long for this world, though, as heal does come through for failure, but it's going to be first blood picked up ultimately here on the Ashe, as the Ignite used won't have the damage just, but it is, again, first blood early here for Blaze on the Ashe.
Does feel very good, though. On the other side of the map, though, Viego is looking for this Jax. He does have flash, but he's very, very low.
Yeah. Does use the Counter-Strike, lands the two-man stun, and with that should be able to get away, although being a bit greedy with his summoners here does cost him quite a large chunk out of his health bar.
Mid lane as well, starting to go well there for
Blaze,
Zhao.
staying a bit too low, is going to be hooked up as well as rooted by that Graviton, and it should be a kill found here for Pepero.
Yeah, really big mistake there, I think, to stay too long by Blaze. Not sure if maybe it was just because his Melio was chunked too hard and they couldn't crash the wave, but you know, a lot was invested bot to get in that lead, and they kind of just throw it right back. We'll get a replay, I guess, of it. Everything's looking good here. I mean, they have jungle and support around. They should easily be able to crash this wave. Blaze can just walk away. Ooh, so he just stays around for a couple too many autos and really hard punishes him. He did manage to keep the flash, but the cleanse, of course, being lost.
That's so weird. You never get anything there. You just get a couple autos.
Yeah, I think it was just like really trying to make sure it wouldn't get frozen, but clearly it was going to crash. That equalizes up that bot lane after Pepper grabs himself some more items here. Dork Shoes rush for Zhao so really wants to be able to fight early. He's going to have a lot of damage.
Is going to see Zhao but opts to not go forward. In-house location unknown, so wise decision. I think Zhao finding himself a slight CS lead, but nothing that impactful.
No, I think you're pretty happy about this as the Azir, all things considered, especially if the rest of the map kind of stays slow. You definitely don't want to have too many skirmishes against the Nico as Azir. And this might be a hook from
Hello, Arashi will be hooked up as well as stunned up there. Pop Blossom does come through after the flash, but there's not enough follow-up damage, and Zhao just going to have to run away. There's going to be the flash costed there.
I think with that, it's going to be much harder for Dewish team to contest any Dragon on the bot side. Most likely we'll just see both teams now play towards the Herald, and you'd normally think that that should just be kind of a wash. The Dewish team, melee support, Renekton, Nico. No way they can lose that, but now, no flash on Nico makes things potentially a bit dicier. And Arashi, he's looking mid. He could shuffle him here, Shara. I think he goes for it.
WSL in the wings too. Will land the Emperor's Divide there on the correct Nico, and so much follow-up CC will mean that Zhao falls. It's going to be picked up by the Azir, accelerating those items. WSL, I don't think you can do this.
There's no way you can start that up, but
this seems somewhat criminal.
Maybe you can steal away the crab.
Level 6, so advantage to the Rel in terms of levels as well. Don't think he knew that, and with the scuttle going over, will even up that XP.
But what we saw mid there really is kind of the weakness, or I guess the strength of Azir, if anything. The gank setup at level 6 is so strong. And once you lose that flash there as Zhao, it's almost guaranteed you're going to die. And that's part of the reason that you need to have such a big lead over Azir. You need to be keeping him low on health, basing with that item advantage, because if you don't, if he's allowed to just hit level 6 in an even state, it becomes quite difficult for Nico. Now, first Dragon was picked up by Dewish team. I wonder, though, that was a lot of tempo invested bot side. Herald has already spawned, and Arashi, he can grab his red and then maybe move to it. And actually, Dewish team, they'll just cross mid. Zhao going to get some vision.
Pop Blossom will be available momentarily.
They're going to start this up.
Started, okay.
They have a lot about pro.
Yeah, and they do have priority in top, yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of top pro.
The Renekton should be a lot stronger, although Zhao walking mid now is going to be stunned up, although it's the wrong Nico. Pop Blossom will be coming through, lands onto 2, but Zhao is so low. And it's going to be that jungler as well as the top laner coming through. There is no Emperor's Divide. Flash is available, but he's not able to use it to get over the wall. It's a 1-for-1, both mid laners trading their lives. As the fight breaks out bottom, Cleanse used early, but this Moonlight Vigil should all but confirm the kill on Blaze. In fact, he lives on just 1 HP as Pepero trying to find more. Good fight, but ultimately no casualties here in the bot lane.
Yeah, no casualties. Sums lost, though. 2 sums burned on the side of Impunity and just 1 for Enhao, who lost his Ignite. And they get first base here, so they could walk to the Herald if they wanted. Maybe at least send Thresh. Level 6 on Thresh. Probably stronger here than the Milio, and obviously gets there a lot quicker. This could very well be the Herald being looked at for Dewish team. They do kind of have prio in all their lanes right now. Maybe mid, the exception. Nico, though, still very strong early.
Yeah, this should be the Rift Herald going over to Dewish team. And I think Impunity are fine. Can just give this up. It is going to cost you a little bit of gold, but ultimately you have a 2-in-1 Azir in a lane that he should be losing. So that feels pretty good.
Definitely have to be happy with that one. Question will be, where does this Herald end up going in Arashi?
Arashi, you might not want to be doing these Raptors, pal. Ooh. Hook will not land, but the Gravitum gun is available. Won't be used though, so. Arashi getting away with taking some of these camps. Looks like he might be looking towards red as well, and with the priority afforded to the Azir and Falia in the region on this Milio, should be able to pick that one up as well. Nothing really for WSL to claim on the other side. In fact, he recalls and is running out. There's only going to be the Krugs available for him.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't think he'll go for more. Maybe he could look something bot. But there is all sums up, and I especially think the cleanse on Pepero is a bit hard to deal with. Maybe though.
Oh, Magnustorm is available. Is going to land the double stun. Is getting in range. Ashe ult does come through. It's going to be WSL, however, trying to turn this and double TP from that bot mid. Blaze flashes over the wall, does escape the Pop Blossom, but it's 2 early kills found here for Dewish team as LJW comes in. He's trying to turn it around. Pepero dodges out of that counter-strike just barely. And now with the Ashlows coming in, maybe are able to survive. It's going to be 2 going down for Dewish team for only the 1 of Impunity. In fact, flash forward here from our WSL, who will find the root and another kill. It's going to be Nico, Zhao 2 picking that one up. And good team fight found.
Definitely, I think Impunity kind of played into Dewish team's hands there. You see, engaged by Rashi, it feels a bit forced. There's not a whole lot of damage follow-up, and also that double TP coming in from behind. You're not playing a comp where you really want to take too many fights early up against this Renekton Nico, where you're just in their wheelhouse, really. LGW managed to trade one back, can't quite have the damage to take out Pepero. And things kind of go from bad to worse, where Blaze ends up dying there as well. Now, I'll still say that Impunity are in a fairly solid spot. But it was also very unnecessary to have all that kind of go down. Jiaotu is working on that proto belt. Once he gets it, it's going to be extremely strong. I think it's a big spike for the Nico, not just for the damage, but of course just for the extra engage that it affords you. Crown picked up on the Azir. Wants that extra safety. Try and deny giving over any resets of Viego, perhaps.
Now, LJW's finished Mythic, where JP on the Renekton hasn't, so this top lane will very shortly start swinging the way of the Jax. And just in time, really, after what was a fairly failed bot lane skirmish, you do need to find some advantages somewhere, and this Jax could be where you look towards. One with the Azir is LJW. Jumping forward does cost him a fairly substantial amount of his health, and the Rift Shield going down bottom. It should crash, but they shouldn't be able to get the tower.
Yeah, I think too many people around to get really anything else done, but a little bit of early gold goes over there. And that plate, does the next one die? Ooh, I think, yeah, okay. Pepero got that solo plate at the end there. That's pretty good. More gold onto him. This would be the first drag for Impunity if they could grab it. Would also be happy, I think, to give up one more. Feels like don't need to fight too much early. Obviously, the crown has been completed on the Azir, but it's still not really hitting its stride, at least not yet. They do not have any TP advantage in top lane either, so it's kind of hard to bring their people down.
Arashi stayed undetected there, I believe.
It doesn't look like he was spotted. It's difficult, I think, for Dewish team to enter. They have the bot prio, though, and that will allow them in.
4 members, Felia will soccer kick that man away.
His base cancelled though, and I wonder, will that be kind of the turning point on the drag? I guess not. No one's looking to start it, although ping's onto it now. I think if you're Impunity, you might just want to give this one up. Yeah. Although you're not that far behind. Like, you could maybe fight. There is no proto belt, although now completed on Zhao 2, and I don't think he has TP. Did use it bot before. But I think now you've got to be very careful. I think waiting for 2 items or waiting one more drag is probably the way to go. What Impunity is doing, though, is slowing this dragon down, which I think is really important. And hey, if they could take it away, it would be even better. They maybe have a small window. Need to be careful, though. Their mid lane is basing. If they get found out here...
Teleport available for both mid and top, however. Belia doing a good job to zone off. This should be their dragon, it is. And now they just damage control. All you got to do is get away. And they will.
I have to say, I think that was a bit of a heist from Impunity. They get the Infernal as well, which worked really well with their comp. Will be a Hextech Soul this game.
Ooh, Hextech Soul against Ashes there.
That feels so good to pick up, though, that first dragon for Impunity.
Yeah.
Because now you have pretty much all the time in the world. It always feels like, once you get that third drag, it's starting to become difficult. But at this point, no problems whatsoever. Azir is working towards the Nashes. Like to see it. Now, second Herald up in only 25 more seconds. I think Impunity could maybe fight this one if they wanted. But again, do you really want to fight around how strong that Renekton is? I think the best play is to just keep doing what you're doing. Try and slow the game down. It's not like that Herald can really be used mid anyway.
Yeah, I feel like Dewish team are in a fairly decent position themselves, all things considered. Because all it really needs, while you do get outscaled, your team fight, if you can execute it well, is insane.
Yeah.
Having a Renekton being able to hit those carries, especially if they get caught by a Pot Blossom. Doesn't matter how late in the game you are, you will just be instantly killed here, especially by that Renekton Nico comp.
Okay, Pepper is cleansed, forced out. It is going to be back up before a next dragon. So it isn't that likely to be punished, although maybe there's a way. Maybe if Ash hits another arrow. WSL, he'll come start this up, and I assume this just goes here to the side of Dewish team. Arashi, can he trade onto the bot side? If you could force a dive onto bot, that would probably be the best.
Ooh, hook lands. Shira going to be rooted up as well, as he does use the Emperor's Divide and is able to get away. Look at the ground he covered with that Shurima Shuffle.
Yeah, very nice there. Now I do wonder a bit about what's going to happen to the bot tower, because that was cooldowns used mid. It's not going to be that easy, I think, for NHow to protect this. And
Oh, teleport coming in.
Another one.
This Renekton is so strong. Blaze, you are in trouble here, pal. Breath of Light comes through to ensure he's not stunned up by that Renekton. But it's going to be Xiaotu. He's found himself an angle onto this Jax, and it's LJW now. The target he's trying to look for NHow. Won't find it. Does go down, and that's another kill found for the Aphelios. The exact member that Dewish team need this gold to be on is finding the gold. And again, this is the second time we've seen it. Impunity going for something aggressive bot lane and not respecting the two teleports. Gets them caught out once more.
Teleports are proving to be a major factor in this game, and now Impunity, they have to try and protect this tower, but with 4 members...
Well, Dewish team have to be
no Emperor's Divide.
Arashi's looking, will find a Magnet Storm, but it's only onto the Renekton for now, who does have flash to get away. It's Arashi getting so low. But first of all, Shira will be able to take down JP on that Renekton. Low health bar still as WSL trying to get out, will be able to use the reset as a disengage. But Blaze finding all of these slows, but it's just so many flashes that ensure the safety of Dewish team, and ultimately it's a 1-for-1.
A 1-for-1, but that mid tower did go down. Xiaotu managed to take it. Will be traded back in the bot side. And now it really kind of feels like once again it might be Shera versus Dewish team, because he's 3-1 here on the Azir. But Dewish team had a pretty commanding lead, and initial engage from Arashi kind of guessed the position wrong as JP comes down for his another TP. I think you're pretty happy here initially as Impunity, but when this TP comes in from Xiaotu, another one, your Jax just locked up, nowhere really to go. Does feel kind of troublesome. But yeah, I mean, looking at the gold now, Dewish team, they are in a fairly good spot, right? Up 3k gold at 19 minutes. It's not as big as the lead Frank had earlier, but it's definitely commanding, and you probably can pick up the drags, especially with how good your team fighting comp is. The real question is, though, how impactful is Shera going to be on that Azir? Because having
so
3 kills,
close to Nash's.
he is going to be extremely strong. And even if you have to give over this drag here as Impunity, I don't think you really care that much.
Yeah, but it feels really good if you're Dewish team and pick it up. Shera, you might have to run away a bit quicker than you thought. In fact, stays around for way too long. Just gets caught for free and goes down, and that's going to be the dragon that goes down with him.
I'm not too sure how he ended up getting caught there. I think he had his WE, but mustn't have, because he didn't use it. But now the punish is trying to come out mid.
Rashi has gone the long way, looking for the dive, and it's a team fight that ensues afterwards. He's hooked up in the middle of the team, does manage to find a 4-man Magnet Storm, but ultimately, without that Azir, you don't have the damage. Hook lands, and LJW, he will be falling as well, as Philia does turn around. The hook only just doesn't have the range, as WSL chasing, trying to find one more. Ultimately will not be. The bot lane does survive here for Impunity, but the dive goes horribly. Dewish team looking really good here to pick up their first win, although Shera arriving, Pepero slowed up, Blaze will be able to use that volley to find a few more slows, but with that Gravitum as well as the Lantern, should be able to be okay here. WSL as well, already making work on the Dragon. There's going to be second Dragon. There is still opportunities for Impunity, but overall, game looking really good for Dewish team. Teleport coming in.
Oh, they want to try flank for it. Nice snare there from Xiaotu, though, is going to say no to any of that. And I wonder if Impunity can just do Baron right now. I think if they'd maybe given up the drag, it could have run immediately to Baron and maybe got it, but instead they send their Azir bot, so not going to be able to, but I think there could have been a window there. Sucks that Azir did not have the Nashes, at least just yet. But now a Medjai's on the Nico. I think you're right. Feels like Dewish team, they have everything they really need to win. Impunity, they try to punish mid, but just overstep a bit too far, and there are a lot of engage tools from the side of Dewish team. Any of them that hit kind of spelled disaster. Ooh, JP, he almost got out, but the hook, it cancels him. And delivers him into the waiting arms of Xiaotu.
Honestly, in-house looked pretty good this game. Haven't really found a reason to fault him at all. This Thresh been really clean, some nice flays, some nice hooks. Now attention towards this top lane outer. Should be going down with this Rift Herald. In fact, will, and now Impunity making sure another crash doesn't come through. There's going to be the Nashes now picked up for this Azir, and you're really looking at this man to be the carry of the team.
Feels like it's getting harder and harder, though. There's been a lot of fighting, and not really in great spots for Shera to do something. Obviously, though, with that 2 items is very strong now. I think you were saying before, Impunity, when they're ahead at 14 minutes, the only time they've been was against Dewish team, and they did take that to a win. But here, shoes on the other foot, Dewish team massively ahead. Now 6,000 gold up, and look at that player gold. All 4, bar the support. In fact, even the support, all 5 members of Dewish team are ahead of their counterparts.
Yep. Things looking really, really good here.
A lot of topside vision control has been taken, and there is potential for a Baron for either team. The DPS is definitely there. Just whether or not you have enough control to actually go and do it. There is obviously a Hawk shot that can come out of Blaze's AD carry pick here.
I think Blaze really wants... Oh, Triforce, as I was going to say, needs his Triforce before anything, but did recall and pick that up, so big item spikes on both the mid and AD carry of Impunity. Obviously, those item spikes already came through a little bit earlier for Dewish team. But ultimately, it is just a longsword difference in the inventory for this Aphelios. And whilst you're this far behind, if you are able to find a fight now, could be good. Otherwise, you are just going to have to play delay for another 5 to 10 minutes.
Or Rashi.
Well, Rashi will be hooked here. The Ral is remaining fairly healthy. There isn't any follow-up damage as Pepero was focused on the wave. That WCL lands the snare, the Paul Blossom's going through, lands on 3. 3 people immediately eliminated here. It's going to be 2 at least for now, and Pepero with that Gale Force is able to secure one onto Ophelia as LJW tries to get JP but will not. And it's now Shera in the middle of everyone. Does flash away, looks for Pepero but will not find. It's a triple kill for the Aphelios. It's a 5-4-1 in favor of the Dewish team as they head towards Baron. Dewish team looking good to pick up their first win.
Picking up the Baron, though, is that first step. They look towards it and check the damage. Shera 6.5k in that fight, but Blaze just can't put up the numbers to match. And wow. Dewish team, I mean, like you said, looking very good now. It was a massive engage found by Xiaotu, and once again, it's so crazy that this PCS Nico wasn't even prioritized for the longest time. And now it just finds crazy engage game after game, and it's so hard to keep track of this lone range creep in such a crazy fight. You know, you just don't notice, even though it's so obvious when you look at the replay. You just don't really see it. You're focusing on all the champions, and you see what happens when you do lose control or lose focus on that. Just absolute disaster there. Shera.
Oh, Pepero.
Yeah, Shera, he did so much damage. Unfortunately, just wasn't enough. Xiaotu, he's got to be feeling pretty happy with that one. Now a BT on Pepero. It's going to be very hard to kill that man. Has a flash in the cleanse to back it up as well. Moving towards Dragon, and Dewish team with their lead. I think I'd rather them just push down lanes. Not really worried about Impunity having a drag win condition. I guess you can go do it if you need to. And Impunity, for some reason, posturing to fight. Feels like they shouldn't be doing this. Probably just need to clear out the waves and try to stall some time.
Dewish team isn't opting to push that mid wave. They are going to turn their attention towards this dragon, and it looks like Dewish team are not going to be happy with just giving it over, although they might have to. It's already gone down.
Impunity really want to
Hex
fight.
Flash channeling, Magnet Storm comes through onto 2, and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow will be there to follow up as JP solo. Pop Blossom only lands onto Arashi. That's not the target, pal. Down goes Xiaotu. Down goes JP as Shira flags away. It's going to be at least a 3 for 2 here, but it's in favor. Or actually, it's just a 2 for 2 as WSL is able to run away through that hollowed passage. Still is looking to escape and will. It's a 2 for 2, and ultimately you do like that as Impunity.
Yeah, pretty impressive that they managed to make that fight even when they're so far behind. I thought they had no business being there whatsoever. I think maybe it might have just been misexecution from the Dewish team's side.
And no stacks on the Magi's now.
It's fine. Magi's are a state of mind. If he believes he'll get more stacks, then he will. But Shara, he's getting really strong now. It's getting closer and closer to level 16. And
okay.
Maybe another engage.
We'll go to Emperor's Divide. It does land. It lands onto both Pepero and Inhale. Pepero solo will go down. It's 1,000 gold to Arashi. Perhaps not who you want as Xiaotu. He's teleported in, but you're in the middle of 5 members, friend. He's going to go down as well, and things are falling short here. Impunity looks so good, but 2 big mistakes in a row, and with that, Impunity finding a foothold back into this game. It's a massive shutdown there onto this rail.
Very worrying now. It felt unlosable for Dewish team, but with these shutdowns going over, it's starting to feel dicier and dicier. It was the Hawk shot that provided vision here. Allows Shera to go for that engage, and no flash on Pepero really just has nowhere to go. Unfortunately, the 1K does go to the rail rather than the Azir, but honestly, feels like anyone could use it pretty well at this point. Having a tanker rel, definitely wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like at that instance against the Bloodthirster Aphelios, you just wanted to kill him. You're not really caring who gets it, you just need to make sure he goes down, because while the Emperor's Divide was really nice, the only person there to do damage in the follow-up was Failure on this Milio, so you just really need to get him down and kill him as quick as possible before he's able to escape. And they do that. And with that, I mean, more items. It's going to be the Zhonya's now completed for Shera. Blade of the Ruin King is almost halfway done, you'd say, for Blaze, and really want to get that done, especially before this Dragon and Baron actually spawning pretty much the same time here in 2 more minutes.
And I wonder who this next fight actually favors, because it feels like Dewish team kind of should still be the ones in control.
No flash on Aphelios though.
Yeah, and Shera, he's about to have flash as well as Zhonya's, so he can definitely make a really aggressive play here. Just send this Aphelios kind of into his team. I wonder if Dewish team... Oh, hook lands.
Oh, Aphelios, you are in trouble. He's going to be going down immediately.
What do they get off it? Maybe it's bot tier 2?
Yeah, perhaps. Although, if Azir gets down there, I don't think you get anything, but you do get a lot of vision control. And with being on Soul Point, that vision control is more important now than ever. LJW first to respond. It is going to be 4 members heavy down at this bot side, and seeing the bot lane on that ward, Shera will respond. It's going to be the bot lane outer, as well as complete control over this bottom quadrant of the red side jungle.
Resets will just come through though. Now this will, importantly, in that last fight, of course, it was Dewish team that picked up the drag before moving away from it. And that's when they really got caught. But they now have a 4th drag win condition coming up, and there's a Baron too. I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams look towards that Baron first, though. It's up a fair amount earlier, and a lot of DPS that can come through.
Oh, okay, that's the cleanse.
Yeah.
You lose the Ashe ult, but the Ashe ult, when you're going this build, isn't so consequential. But for that cleanse, that's a massive summoner to get off, especially if LJW with that flash counter-strike, or perhaps the Ral can find a way onto Pepero, especially no flash, no cleanse now on this Aphelios. Extremely meaningful.
Shera did just lose his crown, but it still feels, despite that, no one can really touch him. Remember, this is Impunity down 7,000 gold, and they're the ones kind of pushing Dewish team up the lane. 5 seconds on Baron, 25 here on the drag. I'm feeling a fight brewing right now. Pretty close on the Ashe ult too, so Pepero has to be careful soon. Xiaotu, he has a creep. I think he has been spotted out here though.
Arashi looking, will be rooted and hooked, but he does find the engage here. It's going to be onto Pepero, who is able to get a lantern out, but so many low members across the board. Felia escaping on just 1 HP. It is going to be eventually, though, LJW finding the first kill onto JP as follow-up kill comes on now. Is going to be Xiaotu going down, and with a 2 for 0, it should be this Dragon started up, and maybe if there's time, the Baron.
I think they get both here. They have so much damage. They are going to secure this one first, but really should just move towards the Baron afterwards. It's still 40 more seconds on both the solo laners. Can probably even reset and still go for it. Let's see how fast or how slow they want to play it. TP does come through from Azir. Wants to make sure that Dewish team can't just trade it. As Pepper, he's going to try. Sherry's going to find this, though, and he should be able to put a stop to it.
Yeah, they're just going to stop that.
And there are double TPs for Dewish team, so maybe... I think Impunity can DPS it down before that. Let's see what they do. They do start it up. A lot of DPS from this Azir. Dewish team, maybe they can play for the fight after.
Looking for Felia instead. They're just turning immediately as Shearer goes forward. There's no Emperor's Divide, but then Enchanted Crystal Arrow manages to find Pepero. He has Flash, but it's not going to mean anything as Inhao going to have to run away with his life now too. And with that Aphelios down, you've just reset another death timer, and again, attention towards this Baron.
Jetting back to Baron here. Now, the solo laners are back though. Xiaotu, he has that ulti, obviously. Baron very, very low, will be going down. What about the fight after, though? It looks like there will be none. And with that...
They're pushing! They're not recalling. They don't need to. It's going to be this blue buff picked up as well from Impunity.
And this is just crazy. Impunity, I think despite their goal deficit now, you have to feel like they're ahead. They're just so strong, especially the mid laners now. I mean, Xiaotu admittedly has played a pretty good game, has found some really great engages, but Shera's doing even better and has well and truly outscaled the Nico by now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think earlier stages of the game, Xiaotu looking pretty good, but at least the recent team fights not been so hot. It is importantly, though, Dewish team are not out of it, of course. They are still up in gold, they're still competitive, and they are on Soul Point. So obviously now, this is really the Baron power play time. Can Impunity find some towers and find some gold back into their pockets before this next Dragon, which could be the most important fight of the game? Is Arashi going to get stunned up here, lands the hook, it's going to be the Pop Blossom that finds nothing, and now Blaze is free hitting now. It's going to be a 1-for-1 as Sheridan's going to do an Emperor's Divide comes through, but it's only going to land onto Inhal's Thresh as JP walks forward, but he might not want that as it's going to be up to really this Aphelios to find the damage. He's all that's left, and it's just Impunity trying to continuously run forward. Slice and dice should secure JP's escape. But now attention towards this mid lane inner. Pepero taking quite a lot of damage from the Azir, and the slows coming through from Ash's auto attacks are just so punishing as JP will be going down to a volley. Blaze tanking up the tower, there's no problem whatsoever, and talking at the tower, it will be going down now.
Yeah, I wonder, do they just keep pushing? There's still 50 seconds on this Renekton. They certainly have the damage to do it. I think Impunity, they're going to turn this one around.
Pepero, though, does have a lot of damage if he's able to position well. Is trying to clear it. He does have the correct gun to be able to wave clear. In fact, he will be able to, as Hex Gates will be used to get out of there, and teleport from Xiaotu is coming through onto the mid lane. But Baron empowered recalls could just mean he gets out. It's going to be the proto belt used onto Felia. Will not find the engage. In fact, loses a lot of his health because of Azir. And the teleport does not manage to find anything.
Wow. 4,000 gold Baron power play, though. Impunity, they're about to close up this gold lead. They had a very good chance at winning there with a gold deficit. Not something you see that often. They do manage to break that mid inhib and one of those towers as well. And I want to see what happened to Xiaotu here. He had a really good angle, but I think he got CC'd. Lots of damage on Arashi, but let's look at Xiaotu. He goes for all, he gets Ashe ulted and then can't get in. That would have been such a good engage too. Just taken out so quickly after. Sherry here with the Zhonya's as well buys a lot of time. And once all this threat is gone, it feels like there's nothing Dewish team can really offer other than to just run away from Impunity.
All Death Push, Arashi going to be hooked up again. He's the target. It's going to be a Magnet Storm. It's going to be 4. Breath of Life comes through. Is it enough to save him? At least for now it is, as the Emperor's Divide will be used as disengage, but the hook there lands from Inhao, secures that kill. It's 2 kills now found, as Dewish team are able to get that reset onto their Viego, and WSL, being this Azir, will have a lot of damage. It's 50 seconds until this Dragon. Now Arashi spawning at roughly the same time, and it's going to be Shearer spawning not long after. LJW cutting the wave, though. Only 1 minion.
Yeah, I'm not sure what LJW is up to, but that was a big throw there from Impunity. The Death Bush manages to catch Arashi, and you thought maybe it was a Death Bush for Dewish team there. It's the 5-man Magnet Storm went off, but I wonder if Sheriff thought he had flash there. Because the way he kind of went in, I thought he was going to flash ult behind them, but he didn't have it up. I mean, maybe he thought he did. Can get lost in the chaos sometime, but that's a really important death because I think with that, Dewish team should just be able to secure this 4th drag.
Yeah, and that changes the game so much. I mean, you do have teleport here on Shearer at the exact same time as this dragon's spawning, but dragon will go down so fast to the 4-item Aphelios. And you see it on your screens, it is going to go down. Importantly though, this game really is just one team fight for either side away from ending. And while, yes, the Hextech Dragon adds a lot here to Dewish team, and it gives them a pretty good chance in this game, there is still so much damage going to come out of this Azir and Ashe.
Definitely. I think even with the soul picked up, you might even still favor Impunity's chances, or otherwise it would be pretty close to even. I think still comes down a lot just to how well the fight gets executed.
I think it's just almost entirely on Peppero. This guy has everything he needs to be able to carry this game.
He does not have flash yet though, and I
Does have a
don't
lantern.
think he'll have it in time for Baron. I'm honestly not sure how important the lantern is because it feels like if you have no flash as an AD carry versus an Azir that does have flash, there's pretty much no way you can survive the engage. Impunity, they're pushing up pretty deep. Dewish team trying to find a flank here. I'm not sure if they want to fight just yet, but maybe they'll have to.
Sandus going up as Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land. It's not onto the correct member though, as Nico able to get away using that clone. Oh, Shearer almost getting hit there actually. Won't though. It's WSL coming in from the side.
Impunity, they want to keep up this pressure, try and deny those angles to engage. A lot of wave clear though.
Looking, that tower getting extremely low. Might have to wait one more wave though. Obviously the Hextech Soul kind of acting like a static shiv. Clearing those waves makes it a little bit easier, but it is going to be this Baron now. 15 seconds until it spawns. Arashi as well as Shearer picking up that blue buff. As well as the super minions mid. Does mean it's a little harder here for Dewish team to respond. Ooh, WSL though.
Yeah, needs to be careful. I think he's going to be okay though. Now looking at this Baron.
Baron will absolutely mount, and they're just starting it immediately. WSL is quick on the scene though, but he does have to be careful. Can just be instantly turned on if any CC were to land, and they're looking to turn. It's going to be stolen. WSL doing his team a favor, taking that Baroness. It's going to be Zhao 2, landing a massive Pop Blossom. He goes golden there. He's trying to deny the kills as Shearer wailing. He's untouched in the backline. JP getting so low. It's going to be 2 kills found for this Azir. LJW finds himself one. Shurima shuffle to find Inhal. It's only going to be JP surviving on what looked like a fantastic team fight for Dewish team. Gets tipped on its head by an 11,000 damage Azir.
What did I just watch? At the end of the day, it's just a Shearer difference. He did so much damage, so much work in that team fight, just untouched at the back. Like I said, wailing on them. And again, you know, Zhao 2, he finds a massive engage, but can't get the Azir. You know, Shearer just too strong.
Yeah, JP.
I don't think he can't defend.
No,
there's
that's
no
gonna be
way.
another kill there.
Oh, an absolute heartbreaking loss here for Dewish team, but wow. Amazingly played from Shearer to bring this game back from the absolute brink.